And if I want to be very critical, I would say that obviously letting Kevin Durant come back and play when he so obviously wasn't 100% by anybody's estimate was a humongous mistake by their general manager and their coach. You know, Durant and guys like him are going to always push to play when they've got that much respect riding on them, at least giving it a go. But I think that this was a humongous, colossal mistake, not just for themselves, but for the NBA. I think it makes the NBA unable to really put out what I would call a dominant product next year. And granted, a lot of people thought Durant was leaving, but I mean, this symbolizes the end of the Warriors' reign right here to me. I don't think that they're ever going to be, odds-on favorites to win an NBA championship again, because Steph Curry continues to prove that he cannot hit big shots in the clutch without someone there to bail him out. And so, again, Warriors fans, if you're all over LeBron all the time for not being able to close, your boy Steph is very similar. And Klay Thompson was gritty. I got to give him props for coming back and hitting those free throws. That was very Kobe-esque of him to come limping back out there and hit those free throws when he so obviously wasn't right. And for coming back and playing once he already had the hamstring injury and then re-injuring himself. I can't really take anything away from Klay for that. That's grit. But all in all, I would say any Warriors fan, and I've seen plenty of them online, that are going to do this whole, this is a tainted championship because of injury. Well, then I guess LeBron's got about another 3 chips then. That's all I can say to that. Just remember that, guys. LeBron's got 6 virtual rings then, if you're going to tell me about how injuries were the difference maker in this series. You play with who you got, you figure out how to do it, and I got to give the backups on the Warriors a lot of props. They played very hard, and impressively, Looney played unbelievable considering how banged up he was. I think in that last game, many of those guys that had not really seen the court very much played extremely well. So, even under all those circumstances, the Warriors still gave them hell for 2 games on the ropes. And you can't really take anything away from them there. The only thing I'm taking away from them is the management and the coaching and the decision to play Durant when he so obviously needed to be shut down for the playoffs.
Right. And we got Tucker Booth on the line. You can follow him on Twitter, Tucker Dale Booth. Appreciate you for coming on. I know you're always willing to come on the show, so appreciate you for coming on.
You bet, Ben. Hey, one last thing. Shout out to my boy Tiger Woods making an early push today at Pebble Beach. Be on the lookout. I call Ricky Fowler winning this thing, and he's right there near the lead. I also said Justin Rose and Matt Kuchar were going to be contenders, and they surely are. Big love to Tiger. Go get him, Big Cat.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Ben.
Let's go. Yep, no problem. Appreciate
All right,
you.
Peace, bud. Later.
All right. That was Tucker Dale Booth. He's been on the show before. As soon as I said I was doing the show, he was like, is the phone lines open? So I said yes. He called in, gave us a good couple of minutes. Shout out to Cool Sale. He said, jumping in the building. Also, Courtney Harden. Phone lines are open. Keep it quick. 469-351-0881. While Steph is getting that heat, can't compare KD and Klay to Kevin Love, Kyrie, says Cool Sale. Las Vegas already got Golden State odds favorite. This is going to be one of the best free agent summers ever. Dare I say the best free agent summer. AD, Kyrie, which, let me throw this in here real quick. Kyrie's already being linked as going to Brooklyn. I haven't heard Kyrie say that. You probably haven't heard Kyrie say that. But there's a story out there, and when there's smoke, there's fire. When there's a story out there, some of it's true, some of it's false. If Kyrie goes to Brooklyn, what does that do to the rest of the free agents? We got another caller up on the line. Caller, what's your name and what you want to talk about? BS3 Sports Show.
Cool Sale, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
I got to defend my team. I don't like what your fake Stephen A. Smith guy just said. It's really under my skin today.
So what's your defense to the Steph comment?
He sounds like an intelligent brother, but I don't see. This what gets me. I mean, I could be a man. You win and lose games. You're gonna win. You're gonna win them all. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me, like I said on Mo Chee's show before, it's always got to be this KD to LeBron comparison. See, like, and what gets under my skin is it's like LeBron gets the pass, but when KD does something, he had to jump on a bandwagon. So the narrative is shifted to now. Golden State had injuries, and that's part of the game. But our injuries are a little more different than Cleveland injuries. Okay, KD didn't even make it to the finals game. You know what I'm saying? Clay played on one leg, and I can go on. You can't compare KD and Clay to Kevin Love and Kyrie. You just can't. Because the same two guys came back the next year, and it took a lucky shot and a LeBron James block to win in 7. So you just can't say, I understand injuries are part of the game. So I'm either like this. You can't compare none of the injuries, and you go across the line and you say, hey, that's what happens, that's what happens. Or you could be realistic. You could say, okay, those two guys are star players. Those are supermax players. Last time I checked, Kevin Love ain't giving the supermax, is he?
No, you're right about that.
All right, then. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Kevin Love ain't gonna change the game. I understand injuries are a part of the game, but I just think Golden State was just too beat up. And the final straw when the guy's damn near going for 50, and he has 30, and he gets hurt on an ACL trying to dunk. That's just part of the game. But you can't take any away from Toronto. And the bottom line is they still won. Congrats to them, to the Toronto fans. But I just hate that comparison. I just don't want people to start saying, you just need to use your realistic eyes. Your eyes tell you, look, they got hurt. That's what happens. If KD goes in healthy, they sweep Toronto. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Appreciate you, Cool Sale, for calling in. First-time caller on, but always calling in. So appreciate you giving your response. But he does have a good point there. That is not a good comparison between those sets of players. And with the Warriors, they every game in this series, they have been in it, but they barely won 2 games. They barely. I'm going to say barely one more time. They barely won 2 games. So this series, as much as I wanted to think, as much as everybody wanted to think, the Warriors this was not their series, period. Not having KD did affect them. Andre Iguodala going down with an injury. Clay going down with an injury. At the end of the day, Toronto wanted this. Not only did Toronto want this, but Kawhi wanted this for Toronto. If you listen to the interviews after the game, a couple of things he said that I wanted to point out. He said, I wanted to come here and give them a championship. I wanted to come here. I wanted to give it everything I had. He didn't say he wanted to redo or prove everybody wrong. He didn't want to say that, but you got to think deep down that's clearly what he wanted because of all the naysayers and everything about him. Marc Gasol, I want to talk about him for a minute. No, he did not have the greatest series, and he should never be shooting threes behind the three-point line. But him and his brother are now the only 2 brothers to have a championship. Marc and Pau Gasol, shout out to the 2 of them. But him shooting threes is not a good look, period. Draymond All-Star Defensive Player of the Year, Boogie All-Star, Steph the greatest shooter ever, and a Finals MVP, Iggy and Clay played 5 of 6 games. The roster is far better than the 2015 Cavs final team, says ABM. Toronto was just a better team against an undetermined or undermanned Golden State team. If KD is healthy, Warriors definitely win. I agree with that comment. Now, I agree with ABM's comment, though. They still had very, very good players. Boogie's not the same. I don't know if he'll ever be the same. And also, him being on this team, I don't think this worked out. It just didn't work out. Boogie has to get touches. Just in watching him, he has to get touches. You can't give him the ball a couple times a game. Every other team he was on the star player. He got the ball the majority of the time. Now, being on the Warriors, he gets the ball like as a last resort, or will give you the ball for you to create and do something, but it's not as consistent as what he's had at it before. Iggy's definitely MVP. Klay, 5 or 6 games. At the end of the day, they have won championships without KD. When they had their original big three, when they had Steph, Klay, and Draymond. Klay being out 2 games definitely affected them. I think their psyche was shook without KD, but when they got to the finals, it was worse. And Kawhi is king of the world. King Kawhi is what I was going to name this show. Cousins played on one leg. Looney was hurt. No Klay, KD. Looney playing with that horrible shoulder, grimacing every opportunity that he had. Cousins was not the same. Now, here's an interesting stat about Kawhi that I wanted to bring up. He now joins 2 great players, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James, as the only players to win Finals MVP with multiple teams. Shout out to Kawhi, man. Shout out to Kawhi. He didn't even have that good of a game. So what does that mean? This team is deep. This team, as in the Raptors I'm talking about, is deep. So at the end of these finals, we have the Toronto Raptors as the champions. And we have to say that Drake now can celebrate with his team. Siakam doing his thing with 26 points. Leonard had 22. He wasn't even the highest scorer on the team. Ibaka gave you some good minutes. Phone line still open. We got about 30 minutes or so left in the show. Keep your comments short. No, Norman Powell had 0. Danny Green had 0. I was mentioning in one of the chat rooms during the game, where was Danny Green? But at the end of the day, that does not matter. They're world champions at the end of the day. Drake is going to come out with an album next week called Champ Raptors, or Raptors Are the Champs, or something. It's going to be corny, but whatever it's going to be, Drake is going to come out with an album. He may even do a double album with all songs themed around the Raptors, which that's his team. He should. If I was a rapper, I would probably do the same thing. But I don't necessarily put him in the rapper category. I put him in the R&B pop kind of category that raps. What do you think is next for the Warriors? Great question, Courtney. Great question. I think that they're going to sign both Klay and KD. I don't think KD's going anywhere. I'm starting to really come around to that because what is better out there? You can't play next year. He's basically going to opt in. That's the other part of this. He can opt in. He's probably not going to play next year. So you're opting in and just getting paid. So that makes sense. And then after that year, after next year, then you go out to the market. And I think they're going to sign Klay. That is their 2 main priorities. Everybody else is expendable. Everybody else does not matter. No one else is important. Steph is there. Draymond is there. I believe they already signed him to an extension. And I would say do your best to sign Looney, because Looney gave them some great minutes. And that's with an injury. So if you got a full Looney, what would you be able to do with that? If you had a full, healthy Looney. And let me know if you guys, as you guys are listening, does it sound like the show is cutting in and out during certain times of the show? I'm doing this on a new laptop. It's a mini laptop, so it doesn't have all the greatness of a larger laptop. But let me know if you're hearing any weird sounds or cutting in and out or anything like that. But you got to really think that the Warriors, yes, you can be upset, but you've won 3